have to come. I have always said that championing LGBTQ rights is an act of courage, but we're in this space where it is assumed risk, and it requires folks to show up with a tremendous amount of uncommon courage. So I just want to say how grateful I am for y'all, for your conviction, for your passion, for your love for our community, because every single thing that you do is an expression of love. Every single time you walk through that door with the uncertainty of whether or not you're going to be welcome here, it is an act of love and courage. Every single time you testify against an anti-LGBTQ bill, it is an act of love and courage. Every single time you sit in a gallery with people who do not want to see you, refuse to see you and acknowledge you, it is an act of love for yourself and an act of courage. Every single time we're downstairs huddled together, waiting hours upon hours upon hours to have an opportunity to potentially speak for just 2 minutes is an act of love, it's an act of community, it's an act of devotion. Thank you. This means a great deal to every person who's watching right now, who feels hopeless, who feels jaded, who feels hurt by the system. But you are here in a moment of history, and you should be incredibly proud of yourselves. Because one day we'll look back at this moment and be proud that we showed up. I talk to Equality Florida's executive director all the time, and she tells me one thing that I think about every single time I get down, which is you have to think about the battle we're in as a slingshot, where we are being pulled back, right? We're being pulled back. But we are the resistance that's going to essentially let that slingshot go. And when it's all said and done, we're going to end up way farther ahead than we ever thought would be possible for us. Hold on to the fact that we have been here before in precarious situations. This is the mud. This is the resistance. This is you fighting to ensure that kids 20 years from now, 25 years from now, that we don't know get to live free. Thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. We're going to have legislators who have shown up for us time and time again, read stories about families, about trans kids themselves and their experience in Texas. They're going to introduce themselves, tell you what district they're from. We have to show them love when they come up here. I'm going to introduce all of us. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being visible. Love ya. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Ricardo Martinez. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Equality Texas. We're gathered here on the day that SB 14, the anti-trans healthcare ban bill, is being heard on the floor, debated on the floor. There are hundreds of people here defending our community today, and we have lawmakers who are going to come to the podium, fierce allies of the LGBTQ community who are going to read stories. They're going to amplify the stories, the impact of how bills like this one are impacting our community every single day. There are families, they are from transgender kids themselves. It's going to be about 10 of them. We're here peacefully, again, as the resistance pushing back against this and all of the other 140 anti-LGBTQ bills that have been filed this legislative session. It has been an incredibly harrowing session. We are getting near the end, but we have shown up time and time again, pushing back because our community deserves it. Our community at home deserves a fight. They deserve to be heard. And although you cannot be here, we carry you with us, our allies, LGBTQ folks. You are with us. Thank you very much. I guess we can get started with our lawmakers. Now, I'm going to ask for y'all to decide who goes first. I know that y'all have busy schedules. If you could introduce yourself, tell folks about our... Vinton Jones is going to go first, and then we'll turn it over. Representative Vinton Jones from District 100 is going to introduce himself, read the first story. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Vinton Jones.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vinton Jones, and of course, I'm the state representative for House District 100. And first, before I get started, I just want to thank everyone for being out here. This has been a very long and emotional journey for so many of the families here, and I'm just so grateful to be shoulder to shoulder in this fight with you. So I'll get us started. I'm a 12-year-old transgender boy, and I know who I am. I wake up every day, and I know who I am. When I told my parents that there was a mistake and that I was a boy, not a girl, I know that they did not understand what I was saying. We did not talk about it for a long time, but I love my parents, and they always said that they want me to be happy and healthy. So I told them again that I was a boy. That time, they told me they had already started to read books and to talk to people who had kids like me. My mom said this is something that we would all learn about together, and she trusted me because I know who I am. I see the news and stories about people in Austin trying to pass laws that target kids just like me. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know why there are more stories about kids who are transgender than there are about kids who keep getting killed by guns. At my school, we have had to learn what to do when someone comes in with a gun, where to hide, where to run, and how to be quiet. Lawmakers are trying to stop me from having health care. If I got shot in school, would they even try to save me when they found out I was transgender? It doesn't make sense for people with power to use it to hurt kids, and they don't even know. They don't know who I am. I know who I am. Please stop.
My name is Trey Martinez Fischer. I'm a state representative from San Antonio, Texas. And before I begin, I don't understand when I walk in the hallway and people stop me and tell me thank you for the work I'm doing. And it really, I don't need to be thanked. If anybody needs to be thanked, it's you. I want to thank you all for being here and being strong, having the courage and conviction. It's moving in a lot of ways. And I already started reading this letter, so I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to have to get that there. This is letter 1. I have been called by many titles in my adult life: soldier, police officer, veteran, son, uncle, husband, but the most important title I've ever had has been that of father. My family has been blessed to have 3 happy and healthy children, 2 boys and a girl. My kids are happy and healthy. They are supported by their immediate family and their extended family. They are cared for, respected, listened to, and loved. It just so happens that one of my kids is transgender. To our family, that hasn't changed much. For us, the way we live our daily lives, bills still have to get paid, kids still have to be dropped off at gymnastics or softball, laundry still has to get done, or if we're all lucky, we make it through a meal without ransacking the kitchen. Our lives are pretty unremarkable for the most part, but according to the state of Texas, our family is so different from others that we deserve to be targeted by legislation that would harm us. You may not want to believe that what the legislature is doing is to families like mine is harmful, but let me tell you what has happened at our house since this legislative session started. My transgender son, who for the most of his young life didn't have a care in the world other than wondering if the Astros were going to win the World Series, has been waking up every other night from nightmares. Nightmares where he is taken away from his siblings and his parents, ripped out of his bed, forced to live with strangers who tell him that he isn't who he himself is to be. His brother and sister aren't immune to the terror that's been focused on family like ours. If we are deemed child abusers by the state of Texas simply for supporting our kids, that meant none of our children would be safe. Let's be clear about why families like mine, we are being targeted. We are being targeted for letting our son wear the clothes he wants to wear, cut his hair the way he feels comfortable, be called by his name. We are being targeted for trusting the rulings of every major medical association in the country on how to respond to a child who is transgender in a loving and supportive manner. And while my family is being targeted, there are actual abusers that are going unpunished. Yes, my kids are suffering trauma and stress as a result of the legislature's actions, but the father in me can't help but wonder about all the kids in actual danger who aren't getting the help they need because the legislature is too busy targeting families like mine as part of a political witch hunt. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Josie Garcia. I represent San Antonio House District 124, and I stand here in support and proud to be this House's only woman veteran, but also a woman veteran who served our military during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell era. One thing that I want to mention, there's a sign over here that says free states don't ban human rights. Free countries don't ban human rights. And as we sit here and we talk about our veterans, one a father who has a transgender child, one who stands before you as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, we've literally gone to other countries to fight against the very human rights violations that we're starting to witness on our own land. This is an atrocity, and I am so grateful for everybody who is standing here today. To be here is to be vulnerable. Representatives who are not part of the community who stand here with us in solidarity, we commend you. You have your boots on for battle in a war that's being waged upon our community, and I would like to share this letter. And before I do, I would like to give the audience a warning. This is a triggered letter. It does speak of suicide. This year is the 3-year anniversary of the day that our son almost died. It wasn't cancer. It wasn't an overdose. It wasn't a gunshot or even a car crash. The cause of an internal conflict so great that he thought the only answer was to finalize his death. The struggle was so intense he didn't want himself or anyone else to suffer any longer. We were less than a year into his transition when his struggle to exist hit a terrible low. I want to highlight that. His struggle to exist. He had been in therapy for a few months and was only beginning to understand his journey when his thoughts turned to suicide, a way out. We're here to say that there is another way out, and that way out is gender-affirming care. Because gender-affirming care is life-saving care, and our family is living proof of this. Without the unconditional love and support and guidance of our medical team, we would be sharing his obituary with you right now. Transgender kids suffer their anxiety, depression, and higher rates of suicide more than their peers. The causes are many, but the internal suffering is probably the worst of them all. At just 11 years old, our son was scrutinized on what was wrong with him. He had decided to hide his true self and to try to make it to 18. He wasn't sure what our reaction would be. Would we reject him? We did not. We loved him and did our best to support him, but even that wasn't enough. And he ultimately decided to try and end the struggle. We're thankful that it did not happen and that this is not an obituary. We're so grateful to be able to write this cautionary tale for others and to support and love your children. Fight for them always. Help them realize their true potential always. Our son struggles every day to just be a kid. He wants to go to school, hang out with his friends, get a job, travel, find love, live in a life free from interference, a life free from bullying. He's not asking to be in a spotlight, not to have his personal life displayed for all to see. He wants his little sister He wants what his little sister wants. He wants what his schoolmates wants. He wants what your kids want. And that's unconditional love and a place to be himself. The support system we built around him does this, and it includes our home, our family, our friends, and even school and his medical team. We have to fight this battle for him and for countless other families suffering at the hands of politicians who want to invade their homes of loving families and interfere with the sacred patient-physician relationship. We trust our physicians and our therapists implicitly to make the right medical decision for our family and for our son. We fear that this political hysteria will take away the life-threatening care that they've recommended and provided. Our greatest fear is without that care, the next thing we write will be his obituary.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Johnson from Dallas, representing House District 115, proud founding member of the LGBT caucus. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in yet another fight against our community, but I'm so pleased that each one of you all are here, using your voices, feeding our fuel, giving us our continued inspiration every day. Thank you for being here. So I have a letter to read. It is my privilege to be able to give the voice to this family, to share their struggles, to share their pain. And I'm now going to read letter number 3. We have these attacks on trans children. What have these attacks on trans children cost my family? They have cost us our home. In order to protect our children from the more than 100 bills targeting the LGBTQ plus community, people that have been filed this year, we have left Texas. Moving from Texas to our new home in a safe state cost us more than $30,000, and that isn't taking into consideration the loss we took on selling our home or the pay decrease my husband had to take in order to find employment in another state. We are the fortunate ones, and we had the means to spend the money to protect our children, but not everyone is so lucky, and Texans shouldn't be driven from their home because lawmakers simply hate their families. What does it cost our family? It costs our kids the sense of safety and their sense of peace. Before this year, my kids were kids, and they didn't have to worry about big picture bad things happening in the world because my husband and I protected them from these stories. We wanted them to have actual childhoods they could look back on fondly when they are adults. What does it cost our family? These attacks have cost our kids those carefree memories. Instead, they'll remember their time their parents were accused of child abuse. They'll remember lawmakers telling lies about them. They'll remember a government that upended the real priorities of our state in favor of attacking vulnerable children like them. Yes, there are physical costs that these investigations have inflicted on Texans, but it's the unseen costs that will have the far more lasting consequences. My job as a parent is to make the best life possible for my children and our family. We moved back to Texas because we wanted our kids to know their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles, their cousins. We wanted family barbecues, big crowded holiday celebrations that were noisy, joyful, and wonderful. These attacks have cost us that too. Now we're 5 states away, rebuilding our lives, isolated and removed from most of our extended family. But our kids are safe. Our kids are safe. And that is all that has ever mattered to us as parents. We are the ones protecting children. It is the state legislature that has decided to try to hurt them. Thank you.
Hello and good morning. My My name is Representative Christian Manuel, and I'm from District 22, which is Beaumont, Port Arthur. I represent a suburban rural area. And one thing I want to start off with is saying how you treat other people determines the God that you serve. To preach a message of goodwill and love while subjugating and looking down upon other people is to serve two masters. And one thing I tell myself every morning is that I am the ancestor that my ancestors spoke of to the future. We are the ancestors that our ancestors spoke of to the future. We have been subjugated for thousands of years in different places. But we're not going to stand for this any longer, because this is our family. As an openly gay black man, you all are my family. And I don't want to make this personalized, but I'm going to say this, and I've said it before. I started off in this building when I was 18 years old. I was the only openly gay black staffer, only openly gay staffer. And seeing you all here, seeing you all stand up for our family, this is what I prayed for in this building when I was a teenager. And I think trembling body, unable to catch their breath, their hands gripping nothing because they were so numb, they were just trying to make them feel something. A pounding heartbeat and a look in their eyes of sheer terror. This is what my 11-year-old transgender child's panic attacks look like. The first time it happened was after bedtime. My husband and I were watching television, and when she started screaming out in pain, when I went in, I didn't know what was happening. All I knew is that my baby was hurting and needed help. We called an ambulance, and later at the hospital, the doctor told us that the symptoms were those of a panic attack. She stayed home from school the next day, and when she had finally forced herself to eat something, I asked her if she remembered what she was thinking about when the attack happened. She said she was trying to fall asleep but couldn't because she was afraid she'd wake up somewhere else, that she'd wake up having been taken away from her family. It didn't take much questioning to find out that she had seen stories on the news about what is happening in the Texas legislature and bills targeting kids like her. We're one of the lucky families with health insurance, with the ability to give our children the support they need in these stressful moments. I acknowledge that not every Texan has those luxuries. These bills attacking health care for transgender kids has absolutely nothing to do with protecting kids like mine. Their intent feels just like the opposite. Just hearing about what is happening in Austin has harmed my daughter and our entire family in a very real ways. You are hurting kids. Stop hurting kids.
Hey, y'all. I'm State Representative Erin Zwiener, founding member and secretary of the House, or of the Texas LGBTQ caucus. We're real sad to be here today again, but I'm grateful to be here in the fight with y'all. And we're going to keep fighting for kids like this. I am an 8-year-old transgender kid and live in the state of Texas. I like to dance and sing. I do lots of crafts. My mom doesn't like the glitter, but she loves what I make. I love my school. My favorite day at school this past year was Tuesdays because I got to go to my gifted and talented class. I have been in gifted and talented since kindergarten. I make all A's and E's. I got Student of the Month this year. I try to take my globe everywhere because I love geography. I have a lot of friends and I like to play with them. I just had my hip hop recital. I also do Girl Scouts and got tons of badges this year. I like to go to rallies and protests because I know what is going on in Texas is wrong. But I would prefer to be at home playing with my friends. It makes me sad that some just don't want to learn about people like me. We did a musical program at school where we had to sing all the songs about Texas. I liked the one, Goodbye, Old Texas. But singing Texas, Our Texas, was hard when so many people act like it's Texas, your Texas. I am just a normal kid, and we are a normal family.
Good morning. I'm State Representative Jessica Gonzalez and Vice Chair of the Texas House LGBTQ Caucus. I'm sorry we have to be here again today, but rest assured that everyone here is going to continue fighting for kids like this because all kids deserve the right to health care. Hi, I'm a 9-year-old girl from Texas, and I happen to be transgender. I hate having to publicly state that fact because to me it's the least interesting thing about me. And I really don't think about it much. Not as much as politicians do. I think about roller skating, going to school, which I love, and jumping on the trampoline with my brother. My parents said we might have to move if things don't get better in Texas. I don't want to move. My grandma and my uncle live nearby, and I wouldn't get to see them as much as I want. I also don't want to leave my school and my friends. I have the best teacher, and I have had her for 3 years. All of my friends and teachers at school know I'm transgender, and I don't care, and they don't treat me any different. I love my house. My room has a rainbow that my mom painted on the wall, and we have 5 chickens that we have to leave behind. My mom and dad are the best parents for me and my brother. My mom is a really good cook and makes all of our breakfasts, lunch, and dinners. My dad always plays games with us, and we like to roller skate and ride bikes on the bayou as a family. My favorite thing to do is sit with my mom and watch a family movie while she brushes my hair. My parents are my best friends, and I like my brother too. Please stop trying to make Texas a place where I won't be able to live or grow up. Leaving Texas would make me very sad.
Hello. I'm a 10-year-old transgender girl trying to survive in Texas. Before the Texas Ledge in 2021, I never really spent much time thinking about if I was different from other kids. My friends who know I'm transgender don't care. They love me just the same. I have a ton of friends and even lots of grown-ups who think I'm pretty great. I'm really good at school, except for math, and I love to run really fast and climb trees. It wasn't until last year that I worried about not being treated the same as others. And last year, I found out what a lawyer is and what CPS is, because our family is being investigated because I'm transgender. My mom had to explain that some people might come talk to me and ask me a bunch of questions that might hurt to hear. And then the lawmakers in Austin started to try to pass bills that attack me again. Bills that say I can't play sports, even when I'm older. Bills that say I shouldn't be able to see a doctor or get medicine I might need one day. My parents are so worried. My mom cries a lot, and my dad is really angry at Texas. I don't want to move because my grandma lives here and my brother, and I get to help her with chores and play in the creek by her house. Plus, she makes the best waffles on Saturday mornings, much better than my mom's waffles. I also don't want to leave my school and leave my friends. I'm asking you to please stop coming after families like mine. I love my mom and dad more than anyone, except my brother, who is my best friend. And they're doing everything they can to keep me safe and happy and healthy. But the state of Texas isn't helping, and that isn't right.
My name is Landon Ritchie. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the Policy Associate for the Transgender Education Network of Texas, and I'm a proud transgender Texan. I am here as a young trans adult, as a college student, because I had access to life-saving, life-giving care as a trans youth. To be trans in Texas is to be as brilliant and as bright as our summer sun. To be trans in Texas is to be as integral to our state as the bluebonnets that coat our land every spring. To be trans in Texas is to be forged by fire and come out diamonds. To be trans in Texas is to be human in the place that we call home. Trans people in Texas are loved, are divine, are beautiful, and are necessary. Trans people in Texas deserve to grow up and to grow old. We are here today and have been here all session because we know who we are and we know what we deserve. We are here today because we love ourselves and we love each other. We will never stop fighting for a Texas that loves us back. We will never stop fighting for a Texas where trans youth have every opportunity to become thriving trans adults. We will never stop fighting. I'm going to do a call-in response before I end. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up day after day, session after session. We will never stop fighting.
So I want you to know, courage is acting in the face of your fear. And I cannot respect and love and admire you more. I'm here because I have constituents, I have friends, I have family, I have loved ones that I care for, that I'm here to fight for, because this state does not recognize trans rights are human rights. And we don't need the government intruding into our families, personal lives, and most private decisions. I'll fight for you as long as I'm here.
Can we get one picture of everyone just kind of huddled in, please?
Yes, please. You want to get more out here?
And all of them, we're looking at them.
Good?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Hey, y'all. We're going to let the live stream in, so I'm not going to say where we're at while the live stream so if you're planning on being in the gallery,